Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. The name of the band is called DC4, and the name of the tune there is called God Complex. And Chris can probably relate to that, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I've really got a complex.
Well, anyway, DC4, obviously a kind of a newer band. They're signed to Chavez Records, right, Chris?
The Chavez Empire continues to grow.
Right. And it features Jeff Duncan of the Duncan Brothers. Of course, you might know Jeff from Armored Saint, as well as Odin. And on the phone with us, calling from L.A., we've got Jeff Duncan on the phone. Welcome to the Classic Metal Show there, Jeff.
Oh, thanks, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Hey, Jeff, we're fans of your work, both in Armored Saint. I'm an Odin fan, from way back. I kind of stomped around the Sunset Strip back in the day. When you guys were out there doing your thing, and now you got this newer band with Rowan Robertson, with DC4, and obviously yourself. So it's kind of cool having you on the show.
Well, I'm glad you guys have me on.
Well, Jeff, we're going to put you through the ringer here, so I hope you're ready to answer some of our questions.
Oh yeah, let it rip.
All right, Jeff. Well, Jeff, obviously, man, DC4, not necessarily a new band, but it's newly getting attention. Why don't we start with maybe getting like a brief history of the band, how it came together, why it came together, and where you guys are going with it.
Well, to go back to like the original inception of the band, I put together in 1992 Armored Saint. Split up because John Bush joined Anthrax, and I put together a band at the time called Bird of Prey with Sean and another a vocalist and a bass player, and I started bringing in music that was just a little different. We were doing more of like kind of classic heavy metal, by the book metal, and I thought, Sean just started telling me, you're writing completely different stuff, and the singer was kind of more into wanting to be Whitesnake or something like that. So we disbanded that group and then put together what became DC4. I got Matt, my brother Matt, was playing bass at the end of the Bird of Prey band, and so we put together a new band, and I had made some demos, and I sang on the demos, and they said. And we got our original guitar player, which is a guy named Highland Church, and had the band together. And I said, okay, it sounds great, so we'll just find a singer. And they just said, well, I thought you were going to sing. And I said, okay, well, I'll be the singer then. And that was, and then we did our first EP probably in like 96, something like that. And then we did a full-length album, Volume 1, and that was, I think, 98.
Now, and how did Rowan end up in the project?
Well, I'd heard of Rowan, of course, because he was in Dio, and he's an amazing guitar player. And what happened was I did this cover gig out in Riverside, and he showed up to be the other guitar player, and it was me and Rowan, and actually Simon Wright was playing drums. And a couple other guys. This local LA guy, a friend of ours, Happen Harry, was the singer. And I met Rowan then, and then we ended up doing some dates in Chicago with this cover situation, just for fun and a few bucks. And I really clicked playing guitar with Rowan and got to know him personally, and was like, wow, what a great guy. I mean, if I wasn't in a band with Rowan, I would certainly want to be his friend because he's such a great guy. And we just clicked, and I said, hey, man, and our guitar player had departed the band, the other guitar player we had, and I said, we need a guitar player. What are you doing? And he wasn't up to a lot at the time. And I gave him my CD and said, if you want to check it out, we'd come on down and jam with us if you want. and he heard the CD and he liked it. He came down, and within two jam sessions, he was in the band.
Sure. Now, Jeff, with the band starting, 10, 11, 12 years ago now, and never really finding, a commercial success, what kept it together and what kept you wanting to do it to where now, 12 years later, you're putting out a record and you found a label and you're still pushing forward with it?
Well, because, for one, I have my brothers with me in the band, of course, and it's just always been, DC4 has just always been a real good musical outlet for me in that, one, I'm able to sing the songs, which I really enjoy singing, and we really just believed in what we were doing and the music that was being written, and we had a real hard time for a long time just finding a label to do anything with us for whatever reason. I don't think it's because the music was bad. I still baffles me. So when we came across Bill Chavis, it was real. We were real thrilled. We were like, we finally got a label. This is great. But my motivation for keeping it together is definitely because I still have plenty of songs in me and plenty of music to that I want to play and the type of music I want to do. So if I was going to put together anything different, it would be the same music anyway. So just we just stayed with it and kept it going, and we're still keeping it going. And if we hadn't, then we wouldn't have come across Rowan, who took the band to another level, which he turned out to be the guy that we really needed to have to make it the right four people. He was just the right guy that made the combination complete ultimately.
Cool, Jeff. Well, I want to step back in time here about 20 years ago. You and your band Odin obviously were prominently displayed in the decline of Western civilization, the metal years. And being in that movie, with a fairly new producer, Penelope Spears, that had to get you a lot of Tukey, didn't it?
Well, there was a lot of that going on anyway.
But seriously, in the movie, Bill Gazzari was singing, your band's praises. Randy O, supposedly this new dynamic singer, he was going to be the next David Lee Roth, according to Bill Gazzari. Did you guys really believe you were going to be the next big thing, or did you have your doubts even at that time?
Well, that's a really good question that nobody's really asked me. Because at the time when we did that, if you notice in that movie, I don't have a whole lot to say. Really, right. I don't really talk that much in that movie, and the reason is because at that point in time, I knew that the band was on its way to being over. In fact, I went to the premiere of that movie as a member of Armored Saint.
Wow.
So at the time, I knew that the end of the band was imminent. I knew that it was going to be over. So, for me to say that we were going to be the next big thing would be a lie, because the band wasn't even going to exist within 6 months, and I knew that at the time. And there was some dissension within the band, and it just wasn't happening. We've been slugging it out for a long time. Watched a lot of bands pass us up, and Armored Saint had been courting me for quite some time, and I just finally accepted their offer. One, because I wanted to get on with my career, and two, because I was a big fan of Armored Saint, and they were real good friends of mine. So I knew at that point that that's probably what I was going to end up doing was joining Armored Saint, which I did, and as I said, went to the premiere of that movie as a member of that band.
Sure. Now, are you saying that Odin was on its way out to where even bands like London were laughing at you?
Well, I didn't know they were laughing at us.
No, we're good friends with Nader the Priest. How did you get along with Nader? Did you know him at all?
Yeah, I knew him, from around. Yeah, he was always cool and all that. I mean, we never hung out or anything, but yeah, he was always, really nice. Always had nice things to say. But
cool.
But now you're telling me they're laughing at us. So I don't know what to...
No, I'm just making that up.
Well, Jeff, obviously you went on to play with Armored Saint and recorded what I classify as the very best album that Armored Saint ever did. And I'm sure Neely will tell you too. We play Tribal Dance at least once a week on the show, man. It's like an all-time favorite. Now, I'm curious about that time, man. I mean, you obviously stepped in a rough time for Armored Saint following the death of Dave Pritchard. What kind of pressure did that put on you? Because, I mean, Armored Saint, while they were never big, they had a big underground following, and Pritchard was very popular, and then you were stepping in. Was there a lot of pressure on you to play your ass off, more or less?
Well, it's interesting because when I joined Armored Saint, when I first came into the band, I actually was brought in as the second guitar player, and I was actually a guitar player in Armored Saint with Dave for about a year.
Okay.
And matter of fact, all the demos for Symbol of Salvation, as well as a number of other songs that never saw the light of day, I did those demos with Armored Saint, and it was me and Dave on guitar. And then I departed the band for a period of time because I had some personal things to sort out, and I couldn't be really in a band at the time, and it was just about me getting my own life together, and I couldn't really be distracted by being in a band.
Was it heavy drug use?
Yeah, well, you could probably say that, yeah. So, I needed to clean up my act, and which I did. I mean, I haven't touched anything for years now. But, and then Dave ended up passing away from leukemia, and then Armored Saint decided to bring me and Phil Sandoval into the band as the guitar players. So I don't know that I replaced Dave, but I've kind of been in the spot of both guitar players at different times in Armored Saint, which is kind of unique. But no, there wasn't any pressure really upon me, and I think that's because the members of the band of Armored Saint they had so much faith in me and really believed that I was the right person to be in that spot. So I just got to, contribute what I had to contribute and be myself, and I really didn't feel pressure. I just wanted to be a part of the band and make the best album that we could make at the time, and plus a lot of that material on Symbol of Salvation was written by Dave. Rain of Fire, Tribal Dance, War Zone, Another Day. I mean, Burning Question, Hanging Judge. Those songs are all penned musically, for the most part, by Dave. So, and since I did the demos, I was the only guitar player on the planet who knew how to play those songs right because he had shown me himself how they went. So I was kind of valuable in that sense, that I was able to really translate the guitar parts over to Phil exactly how Dave had written them.
Sure.
So, it was really all about just making the best Armored Saint album possible, but also about really doing Dave's songs justice. So I was really in that mode, and there wasn't so much pressure as there was just a mission and a point of perfection, I think, that we wanted to achieve with that record.
Sure. Now, obviously, a lot of bands don't have this story to tell with a founding member and such an important member of the band as Dave was to Armored Saint, passing away. What was that vibe like when, I'm sure there was some downtime and then everybody gets back together and he's not there? I mean, was that a very strange vibe the first couple of rehearsals and whatnot to get back in a room knowing what had happened?
Yeah, it was very strange at first. It was very, because David was a very kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, dominant personality. He had a lot of energy about him and knew exactly what he wanted to hear, and he was just one of those people. So to have his presence not in the room was very missed, because he's a very dynamic individual, So, it was really bizarre at first, but what we had to do was take the band and make it into what is Armored Saint now, and really just step it up. And Dave loved Armored Saint with all his heart. So a lot of it was motivated behind the spirit of Dave. So initially, I think that's what spurred us on to really, do the best we could in the spirit of Dave, and it was definitely like that for the making of that particular album too.
Cool. Well, I'm curious, and it's only because I don't know really. What was you guys' thoughts when a couple of years ago when Metal Blade reissued Symbol with a lot of the demos with Dave on guitar?
What was our feeling on it?
Yeah.
It was completely backed up. I mean, if Armored Saint didn't want that released, it wouldn't have been released.
Okay.
It was just time, to give the fans, hey, check this out, just kind of a specialty sort of thing, because there's a lot of songs on those. There's a lot of demos of Symbol of Salvation songs with Dave on guitar, which is pretty cool. It's actually me and Dave on guitar on those demos.
Well, Jeff, stepping back again in time, what's the difference between Odin and the Lost Boys?
Well, Lost Boys was more of Randy O's solo trip. That's really the difference. Odin was a band. Odin was a democracy. Lost Boys was Randy's thing. It was all focused around Randy, and that was the deal. And I did that album based on, at the time, kind of a favor, because Randy's guitar player he had at the time in Lost Boys wasn't cutting it in the studio, and he called me and asked me to do it, and so I did do it, and that was in the period of time when I had left Armored Saint, and I did the record, and I was in the band. I think I did maybe 4 or 5 shows with them, and then that's when I got the call from Armored Saint, and I departed that to join Armored Saint. But there's a real big difference. I mean, I think that Odin was a completely different style of music, and Lost Boys was more geared toward being the next sort of Skid Row or something like that, where Odin was really never about that.
Sure. Now, how big of a prick is Randy O to work with?
Jesus.
Well, I think Randy O himself will tell you that there was a period of time where he was extremely, extremely difficult. However, I will say that he is a completely different person now, and we are really, really close friends.
Now that all the aspirin is out of his system, right?
I guess. He's definitely a lot different, and I've known the guy for so many years, and we've been through so much, and when we were pretty young guys, that there's no way he couldn't be, my friend. He's like a brother to me. So,
sure.
There was a difficult period of time for sure where, we all hated each other. But at this point in time, it's like, hey, it was just a band, and people change and people grow up, and fortunately he did, and I did, and we all did, and so the important things kind of float. We were fortunate enough for the things that are important to float to the top and kind of take precedent over our relationships.
Sure.
Today.
Well, like I said, Jeff, I'm an Odin fan. I've got your CDs. I've got the Lost Boys CD. We play them here on the show. I have no problem with Randy or anything. I'm just giving you a lot of grief here, but I was always fascinated only because I enjoy that Decline movie so much, as to you guys up on stage and Bill Gazzari giving you so many props and, thinking that, you were going to be the next big thing, and Randy wearing his assless chaps on the stage, and, you guys having the big party in the hot tub and claiming you don't ever do drugs and that kind of stuff. That had to be an interesting time for you. Can you tell us any kind of a story from that at all?
From that period of time?
Yeah, from the movie or during that period of time, maybe something you've never really told anyone else.
Well, I mean, the thing about the movie was that at the time, there was so much going on that it was just another thing for us to do at the time. In fact, I've always told people that, we just got filmed doing it what everybody else was up to. We were saying the same stuff everybody else was saying. We were participating in the same behavior as everybody else. We just happened to get on film. But as far as stories, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of them residing in my head, but I don't know which one to pull up right now. Although I can tell you that at the time, Randy was roommates with Chris Holmes, and he helped Chris Holmes fill up those bottles of vodka with water. So there's a little inside scoop for you.
So that wasn't a real scene where he was drinking Smirnoff straight out of the bottle?
Well, he was definitely drunk. There's no doubt about that. But when he was pouring it all over his face and stuff, no, that was water because Randy helped him fill the bottle.
Well, see, there you go. That's a good story. I never heard that before, and I thought I knew everything about that film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I was standing right there.
Nice. Well, Jeff, obviously, man, you've definitely done it in the old days, and you're doing it again with the new band DC4, or I don't even want to call that a new band, with DC4. What are you guys' plans? Are you planning to take it out on the road and run around the country, or what does it look like?
Yeah, we definitely plan on doing some touring. Right now, we're just kind of awaiting the re-release of the album Explode, because we had put it out on our own initially before we signed with Chavez Records. So that's going to be re-released I think around the 6th of October, and so we're eagerly anticipating that. But yeah, we will definitely be doing some touring and in support of the record. And things change. Once you get a label, things are, and you have somebody behind you, things are a little more easier to do. Like, we really couldn't tour on our last record because we didn't have any resources to do it. But now we do, so we're really excited about being able to get out on the road and play to as many people as we can.
Well, Jeff, I saw you guys reform as Odin for the release of the Hollywood Rocks box set at the Key Club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was there at that show. I flew out for that and was part of the audience, and I thought you guys sounded great, and you guys played as Odin at the Rocklahoma, but then also Armored Saint played and DC4 played, so you did triple duty that weekend, huh?
Yes, I did.
So how does it differ to play for the three different bands? I mean, do you ever get confused up on stage? Oh, this is DC4 now. Oh, wait a minute, this is Armored Saint now. Oh, wait a minute, I'm playing some old Odin tunes.
No, I didn't get confused. I was able to keep all the songs in check. It was really just I had a lot of songs in my head that day, or that weekend. But no, it was, each band is different. Each band has its own different vibe. So, it didn't, I didn't get confused at all. I was of course real excited that DC4 was being able to do it, because Armored Saint, of course, I played a lot of gigs like that with with Armored Saint, sorry, festivals and that sort of thing. So for DC4 to be able to do it was real exciting for me. And Odin, that was pretty much the swan song was Rocklahoma, because I don't think Odin's going to be doing any more shows.
Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh, well, I guess we'll see.
Somebody will pull them out of the mothballs, and you'll go, yeah, sure, I'd love to play. I would love to play those Odin songs again.
Well, we'll see. But as of right now, not in the foreseeable future. Let's put it that way.
You don't want to sing Gypsy, Gypsy, my little Gypsy.
Not right now.
Well, Jeff, you've been a great guest, and I tell you what, it's a real pleasure to talk to you, only because, like I said, I was out in that Hollywood scene between 85 and 91 myself, and saw you guys out there on the Strip and whatnot. Of course, you were unapproachable and untouchable at that point, but, when you're riding high like the rock stars that you were then, and Bill Gazzari behind you, by God, I wouldn't even approach you to say hello.
Oh, well, you should have. I would have just stood there like a nerd and said, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
Very nice. All right, DC4's got a new CD out on our good friend Bill Chavez Records, and when does the CD come out in the full form there, Jeff?
Well, the tentative release date, or the release date right now, is October 6th. I don't know if that's just the European release or the U.S. release, but it'll be sometime around there, like October is what we're looking at right now.
Sure. And
one more, sooner than later.
One more, Jeff. Did you attend the Bill Gazzari wake over there at where'd they have it, at the Roxy or at the Key Club?
No.
No? Was it a sad day for you? Did you tear up when you heard about Bill's passing?
Well, Bill was always real supportive of Odin, but he was more Randy's buddy than mine.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, you know, it was unfortunate when he passed, but you know, he had a good run.
Sure. Was he the old lech that he appeared to be on the movie?
Well, like I said, I didn't really know him. I didn't really know him that well, but he just was, you know, he was living the life. You know, he was Bill Gazzari, and he always had a young girl on his arm, and seemed to be having a good time. You know.
Sure. Well, I always wish that was me. God damn it, he had the life.
All right. Godfather of rock and roll.
Sure, absolutely. All right, Jeff, anything else you want to tell the fans?
Oh, just look out for DC4, you know, and check it out. And, you know, again, we will be hitting the road eventually. So when you see us coming to your town, you know, coming out and say hi. And, you know, we're just real excited to get out there and meet everybody.
Sure. All right, you got any websites for DC4 or MySpace or anything where people can visit you and drop you a note?
Yeah, we do have MySpace, which is myspace.com/DC4Duncan, D-U-N-C-A-N.
Excellent. All right, well, Jeff, I appreciate you calling into the Classic Metal Show and putting up with us two knuckleheads. I know Chris and I are very big fans of Armored Saint, and like I said, I like to dig back in the catalog and do the Odin thing and the Lost Boys thing, and of course you got the DC4, which we're fans of as well. And before I let you go, Jeff, I need to ask you one question. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Well, Lemmy's classic.
That's it.
I mean, he's influenced everybody, hasn't he?
I would think so. All right, dude.
Yeah, No Sleep Till Hammersmith. I mean, that was an introduction to a lot of things for all of us.
Excellent. We want to close out the show with one of the newer songs on the forthcoming DC4 release. And let's see, what should we play here? I think we should play Candy Cane. How about that one? What can you tell us about it?
Candy Cane? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just you know, watch out for the things that you might decide to have affairs with.
Sure. Otherwise, you'll have to take a break from Armored Saint and get it straightened out, right?
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
All right, Jeff. Again, we appreciate you taking the time. So here it is. This is brand new DC4 on their forthcoming release, coming out on our good friend Bill Chavez record label. And this is Candy Cane exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.